Today I will discuss the last topic of your syllabus, that is the part of second unit, equity valuation models. It is given in the second unit and last part, equity valuation models. So I have planned to discuss what is equity valuation model and why we need to value equity, what for these models are formed, etc. I will discuss in today's class. See, when we talk about equity valuation model, it means there are certain set models which have been designed by the experts to know the actual worth of the equity or valuation of equity. In fact, for valuation purposes, we have lots of things in financial management or investment like equity analysis and its valuation. When we talk about analysis, I think we can make a big subject on analysis. It's a very vast thing, it's a very broad thing. But in brief, you need to understand from investment point of view, because subject is investment management. So you need to understand from investment point of view. Worldwide, you will find lots of firms, rather specialized firms, engaged only in research and analysis. Lots of people are working in these firms like Value Line in India. Most of the broking firms have headquarters at Mumbai, and they have research team, and the job is to continuously engage in doing research about each and every share so that they could guide the investors. Mostly valuation of equity is concerned with knowing the actual worth of the share so that investor may decide whether to buy or to sell or to hold. Lots of decisions are based on valuation of shares. For example, you are holding a particular share which you purchase at rupees 50. For example, a share which you have purchased at rupees 50, which is currently priced at 100 rupees. So you have to take decision whether to dispose of the share or to hold it. You have to take decision. Now, on the basis of valuation using models, you came to know value of share is 80, which is currently priced in the market 100. It means the equity share is overpriced. So equity is quoted at premium. So you should dispose of as and when equity share is quoted at premium. Most likely in time to come, share price of equity may crash. So when you will apply a particular model, you will come to know the exact worth of the equity. Just like in case of valuation of shares, try to calculate the net worth or intrinsic price of the share, and that intrinsic price you compared with market price, and then accordingly decisions can be taken. Always remember, whenever market price is high and actual worth is low, so most likely market price will crash. On the other hand, if market price of the share is low and actual worth is high, most likely market price will go up. Market price in long run always moves around intrinsic price or actual worth of the share. And that's why valuation of equity has to be made. Now in this topic, we have different approach of valuation of equity, which you will be studying today. So I'm going to share you the screen. This slide is showing you clearly why do we need to make equity valuation. Obviously, to know the intrinsic value of a stock. Intrinsic value of the stock. Intrinsic value means the actual worth of the stock. Every stock which is listed at a stock exchange is having market price, and market price is determined on the basis of demand and supply. Sometimes actual worth of the stock is intact. It is not changing due to parking of the fund. All of a sudden, lots of FIIs due to opportunities in Indian market entered and they bought a stock. It was a good opportunity as compared to other stock markets. So nothing special happened in India, but due to parking of the fund, due to sudden demand of FIIs, market price may go up. Or there's no any change in the Indian context. The worth of the share is same, but FIIs got some better opportunity in other countries. So what will they do? They will dispose of the shares in Indian market and will buy share in other markets. So there is, due to selling pressure, market price of the stock will crash in Indian market. So this is one of the important reason for making valuation of equity. And also valuation can be done in order to perform how a particular equity has performed in a particular span of time, how a particular equity share has performed in a particular period of time, and one equity can be compared with another equity. Third one is evaluate performance of a portfolio. We have included lots of equity shares in the portfolio, so we compared, like whenever we make portfolio, we are expecting certain return. These returns are as per the benchmark or not, that can be compared. So evaluation of portfolio can also be done. Evaluation of portfolio from one mutual fund company to another mutual fund company, like different mutual fund companies may also be compared. And obviously to make buying decision or to sell or selling decision. When you think actual worth of equity is high and market price is low, it means it's an opportunity. You should go for buying. And whenever you think market price is low and whenever you think market price is high and actual worth is low, you can make selling decision if you are holding. Or if you are not holding shares, then you should avoid buying such kind of stocks. Now, equity valuation has so many methods, but in this chapter, you will be knowing how dividend is used in valuation of equity. How dividend is used in valuation of equity, and that's why dividend discount models. Valuation of equity based on dividend discount models. Now in case of dividend discount model, whatever amount it is assumed, in case of dividend discount model, it is assumed dividend is the only income of shareholders. It is assumed dividend is the only income of the shareholders. So whatever dividend is likely to be received, so in this formula, CF stands for dividend. Whatever dividend is likely to be received at different point of time, that will be calculated upon dividend will be received in future, and that's why you have to use time value of money. You have to discount all the future dividends in order to calculate present value of the return which has been generated through dividend. Suppose at the end of first year, certain amount of dividend you will be receiving, rupees 100. Then that 100 will be after 1 year. So you have to discount all the future earnings in order to calculate present value of the return. So 1 plus risk-free rate of return. Risk-free, suppose bank is offering you 7% without taking risk. So 7% will be the risk-free rate of return. So 1 plus 0.07. It will be 100 upon 1 plus 100 upon 1.07. So based on that, using this formula, you will calculate value of a stock. This is a general concept, but practically investors invest in equity for two important reasons, for two different forms of return. One is dividend. They have to receive dividend, and dividend may be interim dividend may be final dividend. And second thing, capital appreciation. Whenever they will sell equity shares, they will be getting capital appreciation. So capital appreciation is another important reason, or you can say capital appreciation is the most important reason for making investment in equity. So what you have to do, actually this model is about dividend model. Based on dividend, you have to know the value of the asset, but returns may not be in the form of dividend only. Returns may be in the form of capital appreciation. So the period in which you are receiving dividend, you will write, and that will be divided by discounting factor in order to know the present value of dividend, plus the year in which you have planned to sell. Suppose first 2 years you will be receiving dividend. So present value of first 2 years dividend which you will receive in future will be discounted in order to know the actual worth in present day context, plus at the end of second year you have decided to dispose of. So at whatever price you are supposed to dispose of, or you are expecting the equity share will be having, that amount you will also discount. Then only you will be getting value of intrinsic value of the share. So intrinsic value of the share is the sum of present value of dividends, maybe 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, up to which you are holding, plus present value of the stock sale price. Whenever you will sell, you will be receiving certain amount, maybe after third year, after fourth year, after fifth year. So you have to calculate present value of stock returns. So whenever we are using dividend discount model, your objective is to calculate the actual value of the stock, where dividend as well as sale price of the stock will be considered. With this example, it will be clear. Suppose you are considering the purchase of a stock which will pay you dividend at the end of first year, $20. At the end of second year, $21.6. It means in first 2 years, you will be getting this much of dividend, $20 and $21.6. After receiving second dividend, you plan to sell the stock at $333.3. What is the intrinsic value of the stock? What is the intrinsic value of the stock? If your required return is 15%, it means at 15% rate, value of the money is declining. So whatever you are receiving after 1 year, it will be discounted by 1.15, right? But practically you can say required rate of return is the rate of return which is called risk-free rate of return, which you can easily get without taking risk. Suppose 100 rupees given to you now, without taking risk, you may deposit into bank and you will be getting 7%. So in Indian context or in present day context, you can say discounting factor or required rate of return is 7%. But in this example, it is taken as 15%. Okay, you may just assume it is 15%. So whatever income you will be receiving after 1 year, it will be discounted by 1.15 power 1. Whatever you will be receiving at the end of second year, it will be discounted by 1.15 power 2 for second year. Similarly, third year, fourth year, which is not given. If given, then accordingly you have to change the power. 1.15 power 1 for first year, 1.15 power 2 for second year, 1.15 power 3 for third year, and likewise. So this is the question. Actually, when we are making any kind of calculation in finance or in the field of investment, things are not done manually in corporate world. We are using, there is a program called Financial Modeling Program, in which you can learn with the help of Excel. Calculation of each and every financial calculation you can do with the help of Excel, whether it is IRR, NPV, which you have learned in financial management using manual technique, but practically with the help of Excel. So it is a snapshot from Excel, which has been calculated by making some commands. Dividend payments, you can see in this example it is given. At the end of first year, it is 20, and at the end of second year, it is 21.6. Okay. The screen is visible to all of you. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Try to see the example. First 2 years, amount of dividend is supposed to receive. It is $20 and $21.6. So when we are using discounting factor 15 and calculating present value of dividend, how we got 20 upon 1.15. So it is 17.4. Is it clear? 20 upon 1.15. This is first year, so there will not be any power. Then 21.6 second year, and how you got present value as 16.3? 21.6 upon 1.15 power 2. So it is 16.3. And during the same year, 333.3 is the selling price of the stock which investor has planned to dispose of. So again, 1.15 power 2. That will be total 268. So net total will be for first year, for second year total, $285.8 will be the intrinsic value of the share. Will be intrinsic value of the share. Is it clear this slide? Whatever income you are likely to receive, you have to discount by discounting factor. Okay. Now the same idea is taken in dividend discount model, where whatever are the future value which you are supposed to receive, whether in the form of dividend or in the form of resale of the share, you have to discount by 1 plus I means required rate of return or discounting factor power n. N means suppose after 1 year, then n will be 1. After 2 years, whatever income you are likely to receive, then n will be 2. After 3 years, then n will be 3. So like this model, dividend discount model is meaning dividend discount model means you have to discount all the future values at risk-free rate of return. This was the very concept of dividend discount model. Now we have so many dividend discount models like zero growth model, constant growth, and variable growth. In case of variable, we have 2 stage and 3 stage. Before coming to these models, you need to understand, in case of equity, amount of dividend is not fixed. Amount of dividend is not fixed. Sometimes it is up to dividend policy of the company. Dividend is given to shareholders, depends upon dividend policy of the company. Okay. Accordingly, investors will be receiving dividend. In case company has dividend policy to give a constant rate, means constant means a fixed amount of dividend. The face value of the share is same. Suppose face value of the share is rupees 10. So it will remain same face value of the share will rupees 10. Suppose company has policy of declaring 20% every year. 20% every year. So every year shareholders will be getting rupees 2 as dividend. Every year shareholders will be getting rupees 2 as dividend. If you see dividend of last 5 years, then you will find every year 20% dividend has been declared, so rupees 2 will be dividend. So in that case, if amount of dividend is not showing any growth, in terms of amount it is same. So this is called zero growth dividend discount model. Okay, meaning is clear. In case company has policy of giving fixed amount of dividend every year, they just want to give fixed amount of dividend, and they want whatever additional returns shareholders want to get, they may get in case of appreciation of share price. Is it clear, this one? Meaning, when company has policy of giving fixed amount of dividend, there is no any growth. It is not like 1 year company has given rupees 2 and then 2.5, then 3, then 4. It is not the case. In case company is giving fixed amount of dividend every year, then how you have to apply dividend model, dividend discount model to value the equity. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, second dividend discount model is constant growth. There may be a company or there may be a number of companies which are showing growth in the declaration of dividend. Suppose last year rupees 10 as dividend was declared by the company, and company is on growth rate. Company is growing. If you see the average growth rate of last 10 years, then it is 10%. So accordingly, as per the growth of the company is declaring dividend. So amount of dividend will not be fixed. Amount of dividend means dividend of previous year plus growth rate. Suppose last year it was 10, rupees 10, and this year 10% growth company has achieved, so it will be 11. So next year it will be 11 plus 1.1, it will be 12.1. So if dividend policy is showing growth, so obviously amount of dividend will also grow. So constant growth dividend discount model. Okay. And third one is variable growth. Normally this one is looking very practical. Growth rate of the company is not fixed in nature. That is different thing. The amount of dividend company may decide. Actual sales, actual profit keeps on varying. But most of the companies keeps amount of dividend with constant growth, or they make constant like fixed it, or if growth is variable, it is not certain how much dividend company will declare. Sometimes 10%, sometimes 5%, sometimes 15%. There is no any logic. As and when company is achieving growth, accordingly company is giving dividend. And growth means we have further two stage. Normally when company is on growing stage, so amount of dividend will grow, and then after attaining saturation point, then amount of the growth in dividend will decline. So first dividend will grow and then it will decline. 3 stage means sometimes dividend declines, then it goes up, then declines to normal. So there may be number of possibilities. So in each and every possibility, you have to learn how to calculate the value of equity, how to calculate the intrinsic worth of equity shares, so that number of decisions can be made. This is the very idea in one slide I have given, but this is not the end. We will discuss one by one. Zero growth dividend discount model I will discuss in next slide. This one is very simple. Dividend valuation model in case of zero growth model, how to calculate intrinsic value of the share. Whatever amount of dividend you are likely to receive, that you will write as numerator upon required rate of return. suppose it is 10%, it is a rate at which you are discounting all the future incomes. So this simple formula will be used. Dividend, suppose this is for 1 year only, I have shown. In second year, then you have to use plus D2 upon KE. Then suppose third year, then D3. So you have to keep on doing, and all the future inflows will be added in order to know the value of equity. Is it clear, this model? It's very simple. Whatever dividend you are likely to receive, it is fixed in nature. Suppose it is 10%. So amount will be written as 10 and cost of equity is 10%. So it will be written as 0.1. So value of equity will be 100 in this case. Is it clear? Now, second one you need to understand. It is a bit tricky but very simple. Don't be afraid by looking the formula. In case of constant growth model, you need to, in the background, you need to understand, in case of constant growth model, company has policy of declaring dividend at constant growth rate. Suppose first year company has given dividend as rupees 10, then second year 12, then 14. So there is a growth rate. So that growth rate you have to adjust. Like first year, whatever amount you are receiving, that you will write D1, suppose 10 rupees, D2, 12, D3, 14. Okay? Upon 1 plus R, in the same manner you will write all the future dividends you have to write as numerator. D1 means dividend of first year plus D2 dividend of second year plus D3 third year, like that, upon 1 plus R. R means the rate at which you are discounting all the future dividends in order to calculate present value of dividend. Then this is not the only formula, this is the basic formula. Then in this formula, it is added. Whatever is dividend, you see the second is clear. There was some there was some connectivity problem anyhow. Dividend discount model for constant growth. The constant growth model. Now in this screen you can see the value of equity is calculated by using same formula, dividend of first year upon required rate of return, dividend of second year upon required rate of return, dividend of third year, 4 years, and number of years. Then you have to adjust in the formula. One thing you have to adjust, amount of dividend is not fixed like in the previous model, in the first model. Whatever dividend you are receiving or you are likely to receive, you have to add growth rate, that is G. Suppose amount of dividend is rupees 10 and growth rate is 2. So that 2 will be a growth rate is by 2% or rupees 2. It will be added. So D plus G you have to add upon discounting factor. Again, see why we have taken discounting factor like 1 plus R. Why we are discounting at this rate? The reason being, if there is no inflation, then discounting factor will not work. Why? All the future earnings are less in present terms due to inflation rate. If there is no any inflation rate, or 1 plus R, if there is a growth rate, so that growth rate is the additional rate that you can do R minus G. Final formula will be whatever dividend you are receiving, you can do in two different ways. D plus G, suppose 10 plus 2, 12 you may write, upon discounting factor, you can do like this. Or in other way, 10 upon whatever is R, you have to minus G. If R is greater rate, it will discount your income quickly. It will make your future incomes at heavy discount if R is greater. If R is less, if you are getting growth, it means more returns you are likely to get, so that R will be reduced by the rate of growth. So this will be the formula for knowing the value of equity. Whatever is amount of dividend, you may do D plus G, or another way, only amount of dividend you write, whatever amount of dividend at constant rate which you were getting, upon from discounting rate you may reduce growth. Whatever is the growth rate, suppose growth rate is 2 and discounting factor is 10. So if you discount by 10, your income will be lesser. But since growth is there in dividend, so you are supposed to get more dividend, so that R will be reduced from 10 to 8. So when you discount by 8, so impact will not be so much like in case of discounting future incomes at 10%. So like this, you may use constant growth model to know the value of equity. Similarly, we have another model called non-constant growth model. In case of non-constant growth model, actually you need to understand same models which you have learned in case of first and second. Growth model, growth may be positive, may be negative. In case of growth model, you have seen dividend declaration is having a constant growth. Growth rate may be positive and may be negative. Okay. So when you see the track record of the company in regard to its dividend, yes, okay.
Negative growth means, sir, what? Reduced value.
You see the previous slide, like R minus G. Okay, last line of the formula, D1 upon R minus G. If growth rate is positive, so discounting factor will reduce. It will be having lesser impact, right?
Yes.
When you have the growth rate negative, then what will happen? G will be plus, R plus G, right?
Yes.
Lesser amount of dividend you will be receiving.
Yes.
And so in this way, you have to adjust only R plus G and R minus G. So if you see the track record of any company, especially for last 10 years, see all these are estimated things. These dividend discount model, all are estimated things. Every calculation is done on prediction and estimation. And estimation is always based on past performance. If you see the track record of last 10 years, or for example, 10 years ago, a company in the same industry, the way this company has performed, like first 10 years, there was a growth in declaration of dividend. So you have to make the duration into 3 parts or 2 parts. One part is showing growth model. Then second means constant. Like first 5 years, amount of dividend was showing growth. The next 3 years, there was constant. It means zero growth model you have to apply. Then next year, there was a decline. Decline means again, negative growth rate you have to apply. So when variable growth rates are there, how you have to calculate value of equity using non-constant or variable growth model for dividend? You have to, on the basis of trend, you have to make dividend declaration or dividend history or future forecasting of dividend into 2 or 3 parts. One is growth period, constant period, or decline period. Decline or growth, that is same thing, positive and negative. Constant means during that period you have to apply zero growth model. During growth model, as long as dividend is likely to grow, you have to apply second model. And when dividend is declining, then also you have